been a long time since the first edition of Infinity, and as you'd expect, the miniatures have changed. Let's look at some of the biggest winners in the glow-up game of Infinity. Welcome to the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and today we are going to be looking at the miniatures which have had the best glow-up in Infinity over the years. If you are aware of how the miniatures started out way back in N1, they look very different today than how they started. It's not just a case of they've gone from 28mm up to 34, 35mm, whatever up to now, but aesthetically there's been tweaks, and yeah, I mean, obviously the technology's moved on. They've had some real buffs. But before we get into the list, a thank you to the mighty Runic Wolf, Chaos Discordia, and Old Man Rogers for supporting the channel. Thank you to all of our Patreons and channel members, and also to you guys. If you could do us the honour of liking, sharing and subscribing, then that will help the message of the Dice Gods go even further, so that the miniatures that I've picked in this list can infuriate more people and get me more abuse in the comment section. I look forward to it so much. Needless to say, the miniatures we're going to look at here, some of the older ones, not necessarily going to be that kind too. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't have affection for them or for Corvus Belli, because they do make some of the most beautiful miniatures out in the market at the moment, and there's no denying that, there's no getting away from it. But before we get into the list itself, you can blame this guy, the Ace of Skulls, over on the Infinity subreddit for suggesting this. It was a genius idea, it remains a genius idea, and I thought, what the hell, let's do it. This list was harder to come by than you think, because when you look at some of the old miniatures like this N2 Celestial Guard, the brand new ones that are just dropping for N5, they are visually very similar. And although they have gone through an undoubted upgrade, the key design elements, the knee pads, the bulk of the shape of the helmet are the same. So what we're going to be looking at here is, for the most part, we're going to be looking at major changes. And that does mean that it lends itself more to things like tags than it does to most line infantry, because a lot of the line infantry has remained there or thereabouts. Yeah, maybe the head's got a bit smaller, maybe the dimensions got a bit better, maybe the position's got a little bit less goofy, but for the most part, most units, most core troopers in Infinity have remained true to their original design styles. There's not been that many great changes. That said, there have been some, and we're going to talk about them now. No shock if you saw the previous video that we did talking about some of the least favoured miniatures, that we would raise the Antipodes. I mean, I said it in the last video, I'll say it here, that no, just no, I'm not a fan. However, that is one hell of a glow up. I think we can all agree. They went from kind of bamboo-clad, sort of mutated dog soldiers, that horror film, that kind of thing, the heads look like that, to genuinely intimidating werewolves of doom. And that is way more fitting for what the unit does on the field. So yeah, that is one hell of a glow up. And those miniatures I think are stunning. Since they dropped, I think about 10 years ago now, in fact looking at the copy right in the corner, 10 years ago, I mean, they're gorgeous. They are stunning. In fact, 11 years, it's 2025, isn't it? Dear God. Anyway, before I feel any older, big glow up, bigger miniatures, bigger bases, but way bigger impact when you put them on the table as well. So, bravo, CB. Yeah, the Dozer. This specific one. The other one was okay, but this specific one with the Arcalat Canon, she looks like a very upset Girl Scout or something in that sort of order, with the socks and the whole thing. It looks like somebody stole her cookies and she's out for blood. I owned one for a while. She did the business, but this just looks badass. The new Dozer, he just looks evil. I mean, the whole like thing over the face and the you know, I know Man Ra and we've got the tactical box and all the rest of it, but I just think it's a major glow up from Girl Scouts gone bad to I'm here to fix your stuff or shoot it, I don't care which. I'm good with either. But this is a major glow up for me. Oh, the old Guija. I owned this guy. He was glorious in his little rotund beauty. I mean, look at it. getting your butt kicked by this was like getting savaged by a teddy bear, and no less embarrassing. It's just not quite right, is it? It's just not. I don't know. He's so cute, and yet look at that. A bringer of death, an absolute wielder of kicked butts, and just violence incarnate. And I love that. I think the new Guija, even though he can super jump around the field, he looks like he's going to do you some damage, whereas he kind of looks like an inflatable suit that you wear for like wrestling with, like, you know, it looks like one of those inflatable dinosaurs, the T-Rexes you see. He looks like that. It's just not, it's badass, inflatable, not good. Yeah. Right, I know what's coming. You Qing players of a certain age, I need you to brace yourselves. I need you to just take a moment, maybe pause the video, breathe in slowly, breathe out. Because we're going to talk about Dali. Now this, if you're newer to the game, this is the original form of Dali. She was in Yu Qing originally, until she was sepsitarized by a combined army and taken across to the good guys, no, not the good guys, to supporting the EI. So originally she looked like this, which this is kind of in line with the Tiger Soldiers of the era, because she was a Tiger Soldier, and they just had this fin on their back, which was denoted the fact that they were drop troops. Now, oh cow! I mean, this is, you know, this is the one that came with the graphic novel. Just look at her. I mean, yeah. She's all gribbly and alien now, and she eats people, which is not polite. But look at that. That is just a striking, glorious miniature. And yeah, you could make the argument of it was of the era and all the rest of it. But I'm sorry, that, by comparison to this, not the same thing. That glow up is phenomenal. She has just become a goddess of death. And yeah, I'm here for it. Very much so. I don't tend to play that much combined army these days, but she is one of the units that would draw me back to do it again. Very much so. Just stunning. Yeah, the lizard. Look at him. Or not. Probably not. Probably best not to. You know, it was always a real oddball looking miniature in the range for me. Is it different? Yes. Is it striking? Yes. Is it nomad? Yeah, kind of. But it just seemed odd. I don't know. It just seemed odd. I don't know. The pose isn't, and then the actual aesthetic, I didn't, you know, but it was fine. But it was okay. But I never owned it because of how it looked, actually. It's one of the few tags that I didn't own purely because of its look. And then we have this big boy. Look at that. Now, there are similarities. You look at the shape of the head. You've got the multiple light. There are elements that have been transposed across, but overall, Lizard is looking good. She is looking just all shiny in the corner. I am very happy with what they did. I built one of these for Lilith for my wife, and yeah, it's got combat heals. You can complain about combat heals if you want, but it's just badass. It's just got intimidating and oof. If I play Bakunin, it will be this miniature that draws me into it. I own some Bakunin miniatures, but I have resisted, but it will be this tag that draws me in if ever I do. Gorgeous miniature. The Maghariba Guard. The little spider of doom with his little guns pointing all the different directions. Look at him. Yeah. Still a big lump of metal. This was, I think, N1, N2. This is how the Maghariba looked. Without a base, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, this did not come with a base. You had to supply your own. But it was a big lump of metal, and it looked, you know, it was, I mean, I can see where the aesthetic from, like, all the other anime and stuff that all of this world was influenced by, I can see it in there, but it's a Death Scorpion. It's a Death Scorpion, people. This is a miniature that if they ever announce they're replacing it, although this is a massive lump of metal, it is the only Silhouette 8 unit in the game. It's a beast. I would buy it. Just because look at it. It's just phenomenal. I have owned one. It was brilliant. When it went on the table, it did stuff. It hurt people very badly. But just, oh. And also, actually, this miniature if I remember, those front guns, you had 2 different versions. It was one of the few Infinity miniatures that came with build options. It's very rare that you had that. I imagine they still do. So you'd have a flamethrower or pistols, I think, on the front. But yeah, I mean, Doom Spider, Hell Scorpion. I'm taking the Scorpion every day of the week. It's just, ugh, vicious. Ah, yeah, they keep Mirage 5. Dulak and Marco. I mean, again, you could argue that they are of their era, but yeah, look at that. That's just, I mean, Mirage 5 dropping into your backfield was never a pleasant experience because of what they could do, the damage output they had, the unpleasantness that they brought to the field. However, when it also looks like this, that's just like, damn, this is going to hurt, and I don't have much say in it. It's just, oh, beautiful. They're beautiful miniatures. I've seen them in the flesh a few times. Thankfully, never coming to do me harm, always going to do someone else harm, which I appreciate. And they just look great. They look fantastic on the field, and vastly different from where they started out. Very, very different indeed. And it is the evolution of the design process, the evolution of the aesthetic, but just from a glow-up perspective, Dulak especially has gone from woof woof to, oh my god. Please, Mr. Woofer, don't hurt me. Yes, who's a good boy? Yeah, probably not him, especially not with the chain rifles. Anyway, glorious miniature. The Jian. I owned this one. This was another nightmare build as well, with the little bits on the ankles that you had to glue on. It's incredibly topical now, because obviously this is for Imperial service, so you're going to see a lot more Jian around the field, and thankfully they look like this. We went from that, which is kind of, I guess it's kind of that same sort of tying it back to their original aesthetic and all the rest of it. I kind of get that, but the whole Transformers look is just badass. That miniature is stunning, and just the posing, the dynamism as well, but just the whole concept that they've gone from kind of alien bug thing, kind of stompy in the man pose, to just this wonderful transformer of destruction and death, and you know, having a Jian coming across the field at you is an intimidating experience, because they're fast and they're climby and they're really on you before you want them to be. And the fact you can get multiple as well in Imperial service as well, it's just not nice. But it looks so intimidating. And the little Bugs Life thing over here, I mean, you knew it was scary, but that didn't mean to say it didn't look goofy, because it did. Amazing, but goofy. That is such an improvement. Vastly improved. Yeah, one of the few actual standard troopers we're going to talk about. Sunsea. So the governor, the boss man of Yuqing. Now this, we need to talk about this paint job for a second, because if you look at the bottom left, there's a freehand dragon on his cloak, and that is amazing work. I think this was still the era. I think this was the era when Angel Heraldez was doing all their painting, and his work is just stunning. It is really, really beautiful. But I mean, aside from the fact that he's about to do an epic sword drop, and he has a beautiful goatee, I think we can all agree that's just better. It's just, I mean, it's more in keeping with the current aesthetic, yes, but as a miniature, just more intimidating. And less of a stereotype. I don't know if that's quite the right way to put it, but I know it's the aesthetic and the era and stuff, but I just think that is, the new style is much more intimidating, imposing, and deserving of the Sunsea title. So CB, thank you for the upgrades of all these miniatures that you've done here. So those are the ones that we found, that we thought were epic upgrades. Who did we miss? Let us know, because invariably we've missed a half of them, that at least. And that the one you're thinking of, I was going to put it in the list, but I thought at the last minute, no, if I put that in, you won't have anything to complain about. So if you can get that in the comments, I would appreciate it. But seriously, if there is anything you think we missed, put it in the comments. Maybe put a cheeky link to the original old miniature so that everyone can see what you mean. But aside from that, thank you for joining us on this wonderful trip down nostalgia road, and we will see you all again soon with something even more exciting. Take care. Goodbye.